Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and it's time again to have a look at the last 4 weeks of the Profit Retriever. Yes, that's right, it's our new series. This is now number 3 in the series, and as you can see here also on the screen, it's for week 16. We're basically looking 4 weeks back to get an overall picture of how well the Profit Retriever has been doing over the last 4 weeks. We are finding the top 10 results to try and help you determine which ones are the ones that are producing the most money, which ones are the ones that are the most stable at the moment. And on top of this, we're also going to share this week's top 5, as we always do on this particular series here. And it is pretty much same as we had last week, at least in terms of profits itself. As you can see here, Aussie USD, it has done extremely well, $515 or 5.2%. So that is really good. It has really been running well lately. New Zealand USD, 335 or 3.4% here. And then British Pounds USD, number 2, is up at $223 or 2.2%. And then Bitcoin is actually in the game again, even though it took a bit of a drawdown as the price rose quite dramatically, up to more than 30,000 here. But it's still cashed in $190 or 1.9%. And then we have the Aussie US dollars too, which is again different settings from what we had here in the number 1 position. But still it's clawing in $166 for the week or 1.7%. Overall, these 5 has done $1,430 or 2.9%. So not bad, but obviously far from what we have seen the all-time highs here previously. But unfortunately, the Profit Retriever is in a bit of a drawdown on many of the different currency pairs. Doesn't mean that it's the end of the day, far from it. It's not a complete disaster. But obviously, we knew that this was going to happen. We just didn't know that so many could be in drawdown at the same time. But as you can see, there's still light ahead of the tunnel. And you will also find that when we look at the top 10 results. But before we do that, you can always find every single detail that we show you here also on the channel. You can find it on our website, where you can go on the individual FX Blue links. You can click them up. You can see how well they're doing. You can also have a look at the graphs and see even further back since we started. And some of these has been basically running for more than a year. Other ones have been running for 6 months. We continue to add new ones to them. And if you want to see the entire portfolio and how well this is doing, then there's also a button for that, which is the one you have on the screen here. Plus, it gives you also some details as how you should trade it, because there is difference between trading metals and indexes compared to the normal Forex markets. So the different currencies in here, it is different, completely average and oranges. So just be careful. Here is our recommendations for that. So we make some small changes on the Excel itself. You can now see the numbers basically on the side here is 1 to 10. And then you also have the individual indexes. So if it's trading index, Forexes, or even Bitcoin, as you can see down here, or metals, that's where you will find this. And then we have the copy trading links in here, or account numbers, and then last week's results, which position they had, if they moved up or down. So green means they are moving up compared to last week, and red means they are basically going down the ranks. And then we have week 13 to 16, the last 4 weeks, with a total sum over here of how much they made, total percentage. And then we also have a column with the top 5, and we're going to get back to that one. So we can look at the US 32, and that is link 107C here. It was number 1 last week, and also again this week. It is doing quite well, even though it is currently in a drawdown for week 16. But week 13 was a very strong one, as we've seen before, where it's cashing in more than $1,000. So in the last 4 weeks, it has actually made $2,103 or 21.04%. So very good signal, continues to be extremely stable. The other one, which is even more stable, is the Aussie USD. Now in second, that is link 83C, and that was basically in the top 10, but in the lower part, so in position 10 last week. It is continuing to cashing in every single week, and it's done quite well here for week 16 with more than $500. Overall total sum now up to $1,122 or 11.23%. So definitely also very good signal here. FTSE 100 has been in a bit of a drawdown from time to time. It's doing quite well. That is link 101C. It was number 9 last week. It has moved up because it continues basically to cash in. We can see that there was a drawdown back in week 13. Since then, it has been cashing in quite well. Not so much for week 16 here, but still overall $913 or 9.14%. So pretty well. Euro Japanese is one of the very good and stable signals we have seen for a long time. It was basically last week, it was in, let's see, this is in 4, so basically this one should be red. I do apologize for that. It has moved 1 down the steps, and we can see it's done 500 and then 300, and now it's in a small drawdown at the moment, so which is very unusual for this signal. But the market has certainly been playing tricks on many of these EAs here lately. $820 for the last 4 weeks. Total percentage 8.21. So still very good results. Aussie USD, number 2 signal here, Link 99C, was number 7 in last week's results. And that also here basically has proven that it is cashing in every single week, up to $381, and last week $166. Is still coming in at more than $800, so $818 or 8.19%. So also quite well done there. And that basically ends the top 5, as you can see here. We have a little sum of it. So if you would have looked into the top 5 results, it would have been $5,780 or 11.56% for those particular 4 weeks. Now, if we have a look at the New Zealand USD, that is Link 37C. It was number 13 basically last week. And also here you can see that it's actually cashing in quite well. And it did extremely well here also in week 16 with another 335. Overall, $801 here or 8%. So again, cashing in every single week. Slow and steady is the name of the game for the New Zealand USD. In number 7 spot, we have Euro New Zealand, and that is also a very stable result, even though you can see that the signal has slipped down from 3rd position last week. And that is because it's currently in a drawdown for a couple of weeks, not a major one. But still, this signal, together with the 54C, has been very stable. We have adjusted them quite a few times, and they have been doing quite well, but apparently been caught out here in the recent change. We see $783 made, or 7.38%. British pounds USD, also number 2 signal here, which is Link 100C, was in 15th position last week. And you can see it's actually doing pretty okay, even though week 14 was a bit of a slow week for it. It is cashing in about $200 almost a week. And overall, it made $722 or 7.23%. So definitely also a good one here. Aussie Japanese, number 2, is also one that is going to the coupling service. It was number 2 in last week, but it has also reached a small little drawdown. In the last week 15 and 16, it hasn't done so well, but overall it still comes in at $550 or 5.51%. Bitcoin is back in the game here also. It was in 14th position last week, and even though it had a bit of a slow week in week 15, it continues to cash in, and also here in week 16, it has been cashing in again. As the Bitcoin basically rose to more than 30,000, it did go into a short drawdown and then came out of it here again in week 16. So it seems like even though we are very sort of cautious about the Bitcoin and the signal itself here, it is doing quite well. So more than $500 or the 5.14%. And if we have a look at the last 4 weeks, we can also see the trend here. It is going down. It hasn't been doing so well for the last couple of weeks, but week 13, more than $3,000, more than 3%, and week 14 was $2,589 or 2.59%. And for week 15 here, we can see it's definitely dropped down $1,598 or 1.6%. Week 16, very similar results again here, $1,530 or 1.53%. So overall sum for the top 10 in here would be basically for the 4 weeks, $9,107 or 9.11%. So that is the results for the last 4 weeks. So as you can see, the Profit Retriever, even though it is in a bit of a trouble at the moment, a lot of EAs in small drawdowns, there's a couple of big drawdowns, and they are still focused mainly around the metal and indexes. And why is that? Well, it's because metal and indexes, they work on a different lot size. They most of the time use a lot bigger lot size compared to the normal Forex. You cannot descale it all the way down to 0.01. So you basically have to work with bigger numbers. And as we are still working with a $10,000 accounts, it is difficult at times when you find these particular drawdowns. And that's also why we have some of the information on our website itself regarding investment disclaimers and the risk, everything else. Don't forget that this is basically just information value that we have taken out of our own initial trading. You yourself is obviously responsible for the trading and the type of trading that you want to do. We are only trying to supply a bit of information as to how exactly the robot works, which ones are the best signals to currently look into, and which ones are the best ones and stable ones over time. And that is basically what this particular video series is all about, to help you trade the Profit Retriever, to see which ones, if you want to trade it yourself, which ones are the ones that are actually producing the most stable results over time. And as with everything on the Profit Retriever, don't look at it on a daily basis. Even though we do weekly top fives also here, they can be very difficult to determine exactly which ones are the best one. And that is why we have made this particular video series here now. We're expanding our view. We are looking at 4 weeks, because we think that is what you call medium to or short to medium terms for the top 5 on the weeks, and then also for the 4 weeks itself. And then we have another series that is running every single quarter, where we're going to have a look at 3 months. We are looking back them and see which ones actually did best, and then we can try and compare them up to see which ones over time is the most stable ones, which ones are the ones that has the least drawdowns. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us a thumbs up, a like, and a comment if you have anything you want to add to our Excel. So I hope to see you on my next video. Bye-bye.